was recognized by none other than J. Robert Oppenheimer in 1946 when he said if the U.S. signed a disarmament treaty, and this is a paraphrase, they would build plants and call them power plants, and they would essentially hide their weapons facilities under the guise of power plants. He said this in 1946 as the U.S. planned to get around a disarmament treaty. Power plants produce a lot of plutonium. If we went the direction of France globally, we would have to build 6,000 to 7,000 reactors worldwide in the next 40 years. They would produce nearly 200,000 bombs worth of plutonium every year. And moreover, these plants are so expensive that they could bankrupt lots of companies. That's why companies are waiting in line for taxpayer subsidized loan guarantees, so that because Wall Street thinks they're too expensive, and the CEOs of the companies that claim they want to do the public good and save us from this climate crisis, just like they brought us energy too cheap to meter last time, they don't want to put in any of their own money and bet their own companies on nuclear power. Nuclear power is an economic lemon. We have the alternatives, and we need to get it done. Thank you.
Time's up. Dr. Moore.
Well, as far as I can see, Dr. Makhijani has still not actually recognized the fact that nuclear energy is already producing nearly 3/4 of the clean electricity in the United States of America, and in many other countries as well. It's producing a large amount of power. 15% worldwide nuclear electricity. That means that 15% less coal is being burned or gas is being burned. So it seems to me very clear that not only is nuclear already playing a very important role in reducing CO2 emissions and fossil fuel consumption, it can play an even more important role in the future if we put some emphasis on it. And I agree that we need to watch our pennies, that we need to invest wisely. And it is not wise to invest in technology that costs 5 to 10 times as much as nuclear power, and that's solar energy. Just look at Germany, again, and Canada too, both of which have mandates for utilities to pay a certain amount of money for solar. In Europe, it's the equivalent of 75 cents a kilowatt hour. There's no way you can build an electricity system on that kind of expensive technology, especially when it only works 20% of the time. So I repeat, as far as I can see from studying all of the available literature and the arithmetic around this subject, there is no other technology for the United States if we want to reduce fossil fuels, which, remember, have not leveled off, are not going down, are ever increasing in their consumption in this world. And the International Energy Agency, which is the world authority on this subject of forecasting, is saying we're going to increase fossil fuel consumption by 30% by 2030 if we don't do something different. That something different is building a lot more nuclear plants, not only in this country, but around the world, in order to have a clean, pollution-free source of electricity at a reasonable price. Thank you.
Thank you both, and thank everyone for coming.
Thanks, everybody.